NBA Countdown is presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Download the app today. Use code SPLASH.
We will be back in just a little bit here as part of Courtside, but right now let's go to Boston. Bulls and Celtics. Mike Breen, take it away.
Thanks, Mike. And welcome to a Friday night in Boston. What a beautiful evening to get us started for this NBA doubleheader. Celtics and Bulls for the second time this season. Bulls won the first one in Chicago. Celtics looking to get even as an expected sellout crowd at the TD Garden here on this beautiful Friday evening in New England. Welcome to NBA Courtside, presented by DoorDash. Jason Tatum and the Celtics coming off a tough overtime loss the other night to Cleveland as their record now stands at 4-3. Zach LaVine and the Bulls with a good win against Charlotte despite an off night for LaVine and DeRozan as they're 5-4 on the season. And good evening, everyone. With Doris Burke, Mike Breen on hand, Cassidy Hubbard with us as well. Fun matchup to get us going, Doris. And let's start with the Celtics. Win their first 3 games, 1-3 in the next 4. But nothing to worry about. They'll just be fine. It's early on in the season, especially when you consider the guy who's leading them. Jason Tatum, star last year in leading them to the finals. This year seems almost like he's a more complete player.
It's not accidental, Mike. Here's a young guy who entered the league with an appetite for work and a hunger to be great. And it's translated to steady improvement over the course of his career. He talked about navigating that first season, just trying to put points on the board, and you're right. You have to be willing to address the soft spots of your game. The hunger was amplified. It was elevated after tasting an NBA Finals. He's always been a legit 3-level scorer. The three-point shooting is prolific, amongst the most productive in the league. Mid-range is there, but here's the soft spot, the weak spot that you saw in the finals. The ability to finish consistently inside. He has been an absolute terror at the rim.
Every year it gets stronger, every year it gets better. With more on the Celtics, let's check in with Cassidy. Hey, Cassidy.
Hey, Mike. Yeah, so as Jaylen Brown put it, this team is still getting acclimated to Joe Mazzulla as their head coach, and more recently having to do so as their suspended head coach, Ime Udoka, is in currently talks reportedly to become the next head coach of the Brooklyn Nets, which the team has met with some frustration and surprise. And I had a conversation with Jason Tatum about how he's processing the reports swirling, and he called the situation confusing, telling me it's just a lot, going from losing in the finals to having this idea of what we have this season to losing Rob and Gallo, and then 2 days before training camp, we don't have Ime anymore. And now he's possibly going to another team. It's confusing. And Joe Mazzulla already has a tall task having to adjust to being a first-time head coach, but acknowledges that part of that is giving this group the space to process the situation with Ime, saying, I care about what they're going through. The most important thing for me is that they feel that they can be heard and they can talk to me. And Mike DB, as this is an ongoing situation with Ime and the Nets, it is as well for the Celtics.
Yes, you're right, Cassidy, and it's confusing for everybody. A lot of it has to do with, there hasn't been a lot of information released, and right now the timing is what's so confusing, Doris.
Yeah, Mike, I am a believer in most cases firmly in a path back when mistakes are made, but typically that path back comes with time. It comes with contrition. It comes with a greater understanding of where you fell short. And the reporting has been consistent. Adrian Wojnarowski earlier today on NBA Today said they're moving in that direction. And just a very personal opinion, it feels ill-timed, it feels unseemly, and it feels inappropriate. And Cassidy's right. You have 2 organizations trying to navigate this right now.
Clearly much more to come, information in the coming days on that. Now let's switch to tonight's opponent for the Celtics, Chicago Bulls, and they're the aspect of our greatest delivery brought to you by DoorDash. Last year, after 60 games, people forget they were #1 in the Eastern Conference, but they were dealing with injuries, especially Lonzo Ball. He's still not playing. So for them to make noise again in the Eastern Conference, they need their 2 All-Stars to be special. Not, of course, DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine.
Well, DeMar DeRozan, far and away, is the most productive mid-range scorer in the league. He's always highly efficient. He's a master of his craft. For Zach LaVine, I think he can be a top 10 talent. He combines incredible skill with unbelievable athleticism, but left knee management will be a consistent theme. If you're a Chicago Bulls fan, the fact that he played back-to-back games earlier this week, went north of 30 minutes, he's shooting it well. He's got to get that dynamic athleticism back, but you're talking about 2 big-time guys on the perimeter.
And they're getting some of their younger players also to help out a bit. So it's the Celtics and the Bulls. Boston lost at Chicago. Now a chance to get some revenge as we kick off our Friday night doubleheader. All coming up next on ESPN.
NBA Courtside on ESPN is presented by DoorDash, the official partner of the NBA. Score one for the neighborhood.
Run, but it will end in disappointment.
The Bulls have been one of the breakout teams of the NBA season.
We're not thinking we can compete for championships. We're selling ourselves short.
Can you guys get back there and win it all this year?
Can we? Do I believe that? Absolutely.
I'm just excited right now. I had all my possibilities. I've been down for too long. I just want what's coming to me. I've been on my marathon. I've been on my long term. How can I get
Up it, DeMar. It doesn't matter who's on DeMar DeRozan. He's just too good.
Jason Tatum on both ends of the floor. What a star.
I've been on this long journey, driving by myself, trying to get to my destination with no gas left. I've been on this long climb, holding up myself, trying to get to my destination with no room left.
Boston has looked like a well-oiled machine.
This team's for real, Chicago. If you don't know, better ask somebody.
Time for the Chicago Bulls and the Boston Celtics as we welcome you to an NBA Friday presented by State Farm. Just always such great energy in this building in downtown Boston, the TD Garden, as the Celtics looking to bounce back from that overtime loss on Wednesday, facing off against the Chicago Bulls. Our starting lineups tonight delivered by Taco Bell. And for Chicago, still no Lonzo Ball. He's still a ways away. So Ayo Dosunmu, the terrific second-year player, the Chicago native, he's the starting point guard. A lot expected on him. Patrick Williams, the other youngster, to go along with Levine, DeRozan, and Vucevic, all stars at some points in their career. Meanwhile, for the Celtics, Derek White joins that cast. He joined them last year and is much more comfortable. Easy to get comfortable when you play with guys like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown, by the way, Doris, was a little bit of a question mark. They've been saying a non-COVID illness. Obviously, he feels better, and we're glad to see he's in the starting lineup.
Right, they actually sent out a notification that he'd missed the game and then very quickly turned around and said, no, he'll play. So we're curious to see what his start is like.
It's more than a Friday night, but this just building is such a great spirit of this building. And the Celtics are 2-1 so far in the building, 4-3 overall. Chicago, meanwhile, they've already played 9 games, so this is their 10th game of the season. They've won a couple of road games. They're 2-2 on the road.